Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Extra Trashy. And wait a minute, iDom, you're looking a little different,
bro.
What's going on here?
Listen, iDom was busy all week not training for Capcom Cup, and now he is over there about to compete. Did you see that video of iDom like talking about the most random stuff in the world?
Right. Broski was trying to spy on iDom, and then the tweets kept coming out about iDom's in-depth training, where it was what him and Jack just talking about optimizing taking a dump if they're a baby. I don't know what's going on.
Hey man, that's iDom, bro. iDom built different. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that makes him kind of scary to fight in Capcom Cup though, high key. Like, I mean, bro, if I'm playing against a motherfucker, he ain't got shit to lose. No pun intended.
Literally, yeah. And every time you're trying to plot against him, you open his stream and he's just relaxed. And I don't know. I guess there's a difference, right? If you open up, if you're in Capcom Cup about to compete for $1 million, and you got someone in your group, and you open their stream and they're sweating, like training, like doesn't that make you feel like they're kind of maybe stressing out a bit too much?
Yeah, like maybe they can be worried. Exactly. Somebody who's entirely calm, bro. Like I don't know if you remember, there was a tournament not long ago. Maybe it was ETC, I don't know. But iDom played against Samurai. But he just was doing the most like he was doing stuff that like you could tell he felt like the game was bad. He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Like I knew from watching that's what he was saying. I knew that's what those games and it worked. He was clearly like, so I think he's kind of mentally checked out to some degree, but in a way that's effective.
Maybe that was Cream City Convergence, and I think he did talk about his thoughts with that, and so there was a little bit of method to the madness. But he was like, yeah, like Samurai just doesn't stop DI, so I DI'd him. Like there's something about that, and it's an interesting topic because people reference that meme where it's like the bell curve with fighting games or with any kind of gaming thing, right? And in the beginning of like, wow. All I do is mash buttons, and then in the middle where like most of the players are, it's like, oh, it's super complex, it's high level frame data and hitboxes and hurt boxes and all of this, and then at that high level again, it's all I do is mash buttons. When you talk to certain high level players, they really do treat the game like that. Like when I talk to iDom, he makes the game seem so simple to the point where like it does feel a little stupid. But when you really sit back and think about it, you're like, yeah, you're kind of right. He's like, yeah, against Samurai, I do random DI and I go ham because what is he going to do to stop it? He's not going to react. He's focused on this or whatever. And it's true. It works.
I think that's because, like, how can I put it? I actually, believe it or not, guys, I had paid for like FIFA coaching recently. Like, so I have this weird thing where no matter what game I'm playing, I don't know how to play games casually or like that. So even if I only play it for like 2-3 months, I'm gonna get in depth, putting in hours, really trying to learn the meta because that's what I'm used to. So I've gotten to the point at FIFA where I've gotten like really good compared to the average person. But I remember this dude, I remember it was like 2 days ago. But the coach, he's like, yeah, so pretty much all you got to worry about is like trying to go for like a Trivela, which is like an outside foot shot, or like going for a speed boost, like a 50-50 pretty much, even though he didn't know what the term 50-50 was, my fighting game terminology. But he broke it down to this basic two things. But he said the reason he broke it down to these basic two things is because at this point, I'm subconsciously doing all the other fundamental things. Like, so I think the same thing in fighting games. Like if you talk to iDom or whoever, like, I mean, any high level, even yourself, even like any high level like tournament player, I think you're kind of more subconsciously doing all of the other things. So it's easier to just like be like, okay, all I gotta do it against this guy. Does this guy tech or not? Or you know what I mean? Does it react to DI? But that's because there's the million calculations per second is just happening in their subconscious at that point, you know?
Yep. They've internalized it to that point. Yeah. A lot of players are actually really good at making the game seem so simple it almost seems stupid. And there's a whole other conversation there, which I do want to get into with you at some point. I think we have a lot of other pertinent topics with Capcom Cup coming up I want to go into first. But, you know, iDom, you know, I'm sure some people are watching this episode like, oh, finally they kicked iDom off the show for good. Because iDom, he be getting some people pissed off the way he talks about the game.
iDom, bro. Listen, you can talk trash about the game when you Capcom Cup champ, man. I'm standing up for my boy iDom.
But that's an interesting conversation because I think there's a newer generation of players who don't know how many Evo and Capcom Cup champions, while they are dominating, talk mad bad shit about the game they're winning in.
Yes, because you know why?
And we know personally those people, and we have those stories from the years of us traveling back in the Street Fighter 5 days. We should get into those stories.
The better you
point.
get at something, like it's like that curve we talked about, bro. It's
right.
Not only I'm mashing and then it's all this high level stuff and then I'm mashing. It's also in every game, bro. I've gotten into multiple different games since I stopped being like a pro Street Fighter player. And I played multiple different games. What I've learned is that the best players in every game think the game is ass. Now,
yes.
in every game across the planet, I don't give a damn. They think it's too easy. They think that it's gotten easier over time. They think that you're letting it be easier for the scrubs to win. And these gaming communities don't know the other gaming communities. So they don't know that their entire rhetoric is the exact same thing that I'm hearing in completely different types of games, let alone just different fighting games. I'm talking about Call of Duty, they say this. I'm talking about Madden. I'm not making up stuff. I'm talking about this games I actually play, and I've heard this. Madden, FIFA. It doesn't, even Marvel Rivals, they're gonna be goddamn crying. Overwatch, it don't matter, bro. Like,
yes, absolutely.
The better you get, the more you are going to see the flaws in whatever the game is. That's just how it goes.
That's just every game. Once you start optimizing a game, you push it to its limits, you see where the limits lie and where the flaws lie. That's just how games operate, right? Like once you get over the honeymoon phase of discovery and you start to optimize, that's when you start to like butt heads with the problems with every game design.
You know, Magnus Carlsen even calls chess boring. The best chess players is like, okay, well, now that we've memorized all the openings and stuff, it's too formulaic. Now they're making up something new called freestyle chess. They want to do some freestyle chess where we give you both a randomized position and we got to play from there instead. Because you know what I mean?
Because they solved the game. I'm glad you brought up that example because I've been getting into chess a lot too. Just I don't play. You actually play chess a lot, but I've been a fan of chess for a while now since COVID. Actually, like watching content and everything, and it's interesting to see that evolution because people romanticize chess so much as being like the thinking man game, but at high level, chess players think chess is dumb. They do because they say it's all memorization. There's no skill. And even chess, that's how the high level players think. Like, I just think if you get upset when a high level player calls a game dumb or trash, you have to understand that it's a completely different frame of thinking. And maybe you will never end up that way, but it's it's what happens when you internalize like 99% of a game and you're left with the last 0.0001% where you see the limits of where you can go. It starts to seem dumb. But yeah, I do. That's actually a really good conversation. But for this one, though, we got too much to talk about because Capcom Cup. We're recording this on Sunday. Capcom Cup is starting on Wednesday in a handful of days. Too many storylines coming up. But what I wanted to get into, since we've already done like 15 different episodes, Capcom Fighters and everything, we done a bunch of stuff talking about this. What we haven't talked about since we last synced up, Rob, was Street Fighter League US playoffs, and you were there live in person, literally playing bouncer, to keep the action suitable for the official channels. But yeah, Punk the God coming in clutch for Team FlyQuest to take Street Fighter League US Finals over Team Bandits, and the drama that ensued. And for people who don't know, Punk led FlyQuest to that victory. Bandits was running the long marathon to make the comeback there. They started in the lower position. They had to go through C9 first, and then Fighting Spirits, and then go up against FlyQuest. So it was Mena leading Bandits versus Punk leading FlyQuest. And Punk cooked. Man,
he's on some other shit right now. It was kind of
free.
Okay, so before we get to Punk, can I just put this side note in there that in my humble opinion, Cloud9 should have let Noah play. I know he got his ass whooped during Street Fighter League, and there's no excuse, but it was his first Street Fighter League. He got smoked. But since that Street Fighter League, he literally won a CPT event at Bleak Respawn. He literally just won another tournament, non-CPT, but wins Frosty Faustings. He is on fire right now ever since Street Fighter League. I personally believe now he's used to it. It's that big crowd, big audience in attendance, sold out venue. That is where he is comfortable. And you're putting him in a 10-point match, in my opinion. Put him in a 10-point first to two match with that play style. I think that's a bit of a fumble, respectfully, to not let Noah play a match. I think it was.
Yeah, I wonder what the strategy was there, because it seemed like the C9, their tagline became "No egos," as in like, "Hey Noah, please stop talking so we can bench you." You know what I mean? Like, I even Boost quoted that. I was like, dude, what is this thing? Because like I think Noah was saying that before. He's like, I don't care if you bench me, like whatever the right play is, like it doesn't bother me.
Yes, he needs to embrace
accepting
that
being
shit,
benched.
bro.
But I kind of agree. I'm not really sure what the whole strategy was with that, because like they for C9, I think the main problems were like Boost didn't come clutch versus Mena RD, which is what they were banking on, because Boost has done that, right? Boost, he made his name off beating Mena RD, essentially, right? Boost won the first World Warrior for US East, beating Mena RD, and that's when it's like, boom, yeah, he's legit, he's real. Then he did it right away again in like the regular season for Street Fighter League US. So it's like, okay, it's not a fluke. He's done it twice now. And then come to the playoffs, Mena RD busts out the M Bison, which was, I think that was the missing link the last time we talked, like what character he's going to play. M Bison, he only used that for Boost.
Yeah, and it was, and he beat Boost ass. Shout out to my man's Boost. I will say, and even a side note with that, you know, give you guys some behind the scenes stuff. Like, I feel like Boost be pretty broken up when he lose, especially in a situation like that. He's very passionate about it. Won't go into personal stuff, but I will say, in the end of the day, with somebody like Boost, to me, you need that type of loss, bro. It's cool. That's what everybody got to go through. Boost not used to really being on this type of stage. So he got to see, oh, Mena RD, there's Mena RD I fight in World Warrior. And then there's Mena RD I fight in Casual. Then there's Mena RD when it matters the goddamn most.
Right.
And I think when you play against that, that helps you become that too. You know what I mean? But you got to be in those situations first. That said, I would have put Boost there. I like that situation, putting Boost there. But I don't know. Yeah, that one is, I think.
They put JB versus Louis Man first round. They won that. And then Lex versus Zhen, which I don't mind that either.
That's not bad.
But I don't understand why everyone keeps putting Guile up against Bison. I think Bison beats Guile in this game. So I would have put Noah there, at least. You know what I mean? Like, they kept doing that. And I felt like that was very strange, the Guile Bison, because even when even Bandits that happened later on with like in another set, they kept putting weird matchups against Zhen. They kept feeding him good matchups, because I really do think Bison just has so many good matchups. But yeah, Noah, they lost a little too early, so like there might have been an opportunity for Noah to play, but since they only won the first set,
yeah, they kind of got cooked
for the rest of it.
Yeah,
so
they didn't really get a chance.
I don't really feel like. It's hard to confirm that they were just like purposely keeping Noah completely locked out. It almost felt like they didn't even get the opportunity
to even use him, because they might have used him in a future situation. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like when it came to FlyQuest, you know, of course they started off in grand finals. In my opinion, this is not coming from them. I feel like their best chance was for Bandits not to make it to the finals. Now, even getting there, I can see either team, but I think they're sitting there watching that. You know, I got to paint a picture for you guys. So I don't know if y'all know, we were actually in Capcom headquarters. That cool ass venue was the actual LA headquarters for Capcom. So there's these huge tiers and everything, right? There's banners for every single, for all of the 4 teams up there with every guy's face on the huge banners. And there's these different levels. And throughout the whole tournament, you can look up, and you just see Punk and the other FlyQuest dudes like as shadows looking down at the tournament. Like, I swear to goodness, it was so cold. Like some final boss activity or something like that, right? So my thing is, Brian, I know you know about this as far as like playing the tournaments, bro. Like, it's fire to be in grand finals, but at the same time, it's tough because you sitting there waiting.
You're cold.
You're cold as hell. These guys, whoever plays against FlyQuest, is on absolute fire at that moment, you know. So I personally don't think they wanted Bandits to make it there, but clearly Punk and them boys didn't give a damn overall. But I think anyone else would have been easier. But the next match was I don't want to talk about the whole match, but FlyQuest versus Spirit. Bandits. I mean, FlyQuest, yeah, Fighting Spirit versus Bandits, bro. How about my man's Mena losing bad to DCQ? And then, I don't know if you remember, they sent Mena up early to get a 10-point so that Klaba could clutch it out against DCQ in the 30-point spot. And it was like, it was 3-2. DCQ ended up getting it. But that meant that Mena got to go up again against the motherfucker who just destroyed him. 3-0 or something like that. And my man's Mena clutched it out again, bro. I mean, That's your end.
Well, they
bro.
had to choose, right? Like it came down to the final match between both of them. They had to figure out who's going up, and they picked Mena RD, knowing that because DCQ was like the guy carrying Fighting Spirit right at that point. So I forgot who was home or away, but I think they knew. I think Bandits were away, but they knew that they're going to send up DCQ. You know what I mean? Like they just knew that was the play. So they put Mena RD up, and of course they put DCQ up, and then Mena RD cooked. But I just feel like that's like the position where Mena RD usually shines, right? So I think after that, I think what you're saying is super true. So you're FlyQuest, you're sitting there in grand finals, you're literally cold, because this is outside, by the way, and there was a lot of technical issues. The show ran way too
it was
fucking long.
it was inside.
That was outside.
Like that. No, that's in the building, bro. That's in the building.
In the building. That's inside.
It's just a big, awesome. Like it's so fucking cool. Yeah, it's just this huge open.
Okay. Oh,
yeah, that's
I was
indoors.
checking the weather. I was seeing the sun go down, and I was like, man, I was checking the weather, and like it was like 60 something degrees. I was like, they gotta be physically cold.
There's this big clear glass. You know, it's an amazing corporate building. So it lets the sun in. So that's why. That was indoors. It's like an atrium or something.
Okay, well that's better than I thought. Yeah, I thought they were literally out there freezing. I'm like, damn, if I'm FlyQuest, I'd be bundled up and get some hot chocolate or something. Like you got to stay physically warm. Okay, they're good. Well, they're cold in game, but at least they're physically they're not freezing. Because after watching Bandits, like you watch Mena RD. Like you don't want him to build that momentum regardless, but then you see him be put into the position where he has to make the clutch finishing blow, right? And he does it. It's like, oh shit, like here we go again with Mena RD, like being on the precipice of defeat and then clutching a victory. So that was scary to see them go up against that, and I was definitely like worried for them. But they came out swinging. I mean, that was FlyQuest cooked, and then everyone except for Chris got their big win. And by the way, Chris kind of trolled. I don't know if you know exactly what happened with the Kaba, the first set with Chris CCH and Kaba, where Chris almost won that set. Chris, I saw him do the setup. He knocked down Kaba in the corner. Kaba had like a bar and like a pixel of drive meter, and he gets like a knockdown in the corner, and he activates level 2 to force him to maybe block the level 2 and get some pressure or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he does the heavy version of level 2 from Ed, which flies really quick. So Ed flies past Kaba on Wake Up. And the reason he did that, I remember seeing this tweet from Chris CCH. He's like, wow, even Fudo is using the 1500 MR tech. In Japan, there was a random ranked monster who was like trolling with some guy. And at one point, you do that level 2. And instead of throwing the slow one that makes you block it, you throw the heavy one that flies past them. They wake up parry and you walk up, grab them.
And you get a free punish counter throw. Bro,
yes.
I was sitting with
which
Filipino
would have
man.
burned out Kaba.
I was still with Filipino man in fucking Flaquito during that. Of course, Chris CH homies or whatever.
Right.
And, you know, and he's like, oh my fucking God, why did he do that? Everybody's seen that fucking Twitter video.
Because Chris, I saw that. I was like, dude, Chris, you tweeted about this. And like the funny thing is he tweeted about it because Fudo tried it. He saw Fudo try it in a high level match and it failed. Like the guy didn't parry and then Fudo died. And so Chris CCH saw the opportunity to close out the first set of Street Fighter League US Playoff Grand Finals with a troll setup, which is like meant to like troll like lower ranked master players. And then Kaba just didn't bite at all. And he made the whole comeback and won the set. And I'm like, dude. So he kind of blew his chance to help. And I feel bad because he actually did really good in the regular season. But like people tuned into the playoffs and like, oh, Chris got carried and, you know, and then you dodged him for the interview at the end.
Okay. First, before the interview thing, I just want to tell y'all, in between match, like, what is it? In between breaks, every time there was a break, I was out there doing what we call crowd work. So I will always go out there with the microphone, talk to the crowd, hype everybody up, whatever, interact. So on this one, I randomly, before grand finals, I'm talking to Punk and Mena on the mic. Like, I didn't bring them both up. I just walked over to both of them, talking to them a bit. Punk's confidence, both of them were confident, but Punk had like a angry confidence or some shit, bro. Like it was, he was like, you know, he's like, well, we gonna win. Like, but like with his lips pierced and shit, he getting in certain modes. You know what I'm talking about, Brian. You noticed that on that interview or whatever, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, anyway, what did you just bring up, Brian? Oh, the Chris. Fucking Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, you guys killed me for the Chris CCH. I went to look at the video. People are like, oh my God, no interview for Chris. That's fucked up. Bro, when I went out there, Brian just said the show went way over, and it did, right? So I was only supposed to interview Punk. That's what I was told to do. Only Punk. So we get up there and it's like, damn. And I'm like, all right, Punk, I need you right here. And y'all can be whatever order y'all want to do, but I need you right here first. He's like, well, Punk insists on us getting the other players or whatever, right? Now, mind you, my IFB is like when you see Secret Service with the fucking little thing in their ear, people can talk to them. That's their offbeat. My shit, I found out later, my shit was entirely turned down. So I was just up there, you know, I don't give a fuck. I'm freestyling my shit up there. But I couldn't even hear production. But I know they only want me to do punk. So I ended up doing, but I'm like, all right, fuck it. I just go to fucking Shine. I went to fucking Psycho, and I'm just picturing in my head like, oh shit, like I know they probably gonna be on my ass. Like we gotta hurry the fuck up. So then I went to Punk. I went to Shine and Psycho because they did win a match, and then I'm just freestyling. I'm like, all right, fuck, we gotta hurry up. In hindsight, I would have preferred. In hindsight, I would have just fucking asked Chris something real quick too. Like, what the worst that can happen? But I was not supposed to interview nobody but Punk.
Right. I see the pressure there, but I think you could have got away with giving Chris the mic because I don't think he's about to cut a promo after losing both sets. But he probably would have kept it short and sweet. Like there wasn't a risk of him grabbing the mic and pulling a Noah.
No, I let do a Noah. But I see your video. I see your stream, and you were like, bro, I think Raw fumbled a little bit right there. It was not me, bro. I was only supposed to interview Punk. Like.
Right. Well, I mean, it was just funny. It just, in hindsight, it's just. I can see why you're like that, but like to the audience there, they're like, damn, like Chris lost both his matches.
He lost and did get yes. Oh my God.
And then to a lot of the people who watch that, they're like, oh, Chris got carried. And I'm like, kind of for that match, but you know, he actually did really well in the regular season. He was one of the best performing players aside from obviously Punk was the MVP, but like he was, I think, the second best performing, or maybe him and Psycho. So like he was doing a lot of work. So I just feel it was unfortunate for Chris, but I mean he handled it well. I mean he had the Black History Month
tweet was worth it. That tweet was worth it, bro. He smoked that shit.
Yeah, he was like, oh, like why'd you do Chris dirty? And Chris was like, oh, it's okay, I understand it. It's February, like no biggie, no biggie. I get you. But it worked out for that. But what was big about that, I think, is that for the rest of the team, they actually did put in work, like Psycho coming out and handing Zhen his first loss, because Zhen was basically an honorary Dominican at that point, right? He was actually like Mena RD came clutch to close out those sets, but Zhen was getting points every single time. Like he won every single set, and he played every rotation leading up to the grand finals, right? So he was cooking, and it was kind of ironic, or not ironic, but fitting, because Zhen also was one of the players who kind of underperformed during the regular season based on his level. You know, 6th place at Evo, 2nd Capcom Cup, right? Like he's been a world-class talent for a while now, and he didn't do that hot relative to his level. So like he was like, okay, I'm here to play. And then Psycho comes out of nowhere and cooks him 2-0, and then they send him back up against the other Kimberly, which is now Shine playing Kimberly, and then Shine gets a win.
Hey, shout out my man Shine, bro. Hold up. We gotta make sure we highlight my brother. He cooked up, bro. My boy Shine in the clutch, you know what I mean, when it mattered most. And my boy about to get his second Street Fighter League US ring. They never gave us our rings when we won, but they are getting our rings, because they, for some reason, they gave Punk and them rings. They just skipped over our rings when we won, and they gave everybody else rings. Season? We just never got rings.
So you're saying first season there was rings, second, because you guys won Street Fighter League US. It was you, Shine, and Knuckle-Doo, right?
Yes,
I'm remembering. And you guys won the second season. But that was the first one actually they did Worlds, right? Because you played against
we played against Japan. And just a side note, we're not getting into it, Ryan. Just a side note, people, if you go look on YouTube, Street Fighter League Japan, they're world champions. They banned my Kieran. If you wonder how cold I was the banned character, not Knuckle-Doo, not Shine, and I had the second highest win percentage in all of Street Fighter League. Just so y'all know, they banned.
The stats are still there. It's weird. The Street Fighter League site, I went back to it just like to prep for the recap for everything. They still have all the stats for the players and they rank them, but they don't filter based on like season or number of appearances. So you did like 1 or 2 seasons and you did really well. So like you're like number one,
still one of the fucking
like, or like top 3. Like, which is, I mean, you did cook up this season, but I think you can't really.
No, it's
not
different.
Fair when people play
talking about
15 seasons.
No, I only played 2 fucking seasons, of course.
Right, but you're like ranked over like Punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
RobTV. No, and I didn't even play it with the international one, so they played in a much harder league, of course.
Yeah, but you definitely cooked when you were up there for sure. You gave my captain a hard time season 1 too.
There, who is that? You talking about
Justin?
Oh, Justin. And I beat Justin in the mirror match. But and your co-host iDom, I got on iDom's ass in Street Fighter League too.
Yeah, but he's played fucking Birdie.
No. Season two.
Oh,
Laura.
Word?
Karen
Okay.
versus Laura. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were talking
Bro,
about
I
that first
was
season, which was
fucking
cursed.
beating ass. No, he was ass. Wasn't. But I will say, what the thing we were just talking about though, Brian?
Shine.
Oh yeah, Shine. So they're finally giving us R rings too. So Shine is a 2-time Street Fighter League champion, and of course this one's even harder than the first one. So that's super fire, bro. And he contributed even in the regular season. I think he might have been like 3-3 or something like that. Like I think Psycho might have had the same record. Like their whole team played good. Nobody got carried on there. And then Shine in that big moment against Jin, who was on fire at that time, smoking him. That's huge.
Right. And I mean, even for Shine personally, in his pre-match interview, he was talking about how like it means a lot to him to like he really wants to step up and get the job done and support his team. And then he had the interview with you, like you could hear it in his voice, like he was getting emotional about it because like I people don't know like how much self-doubt I think can go into being a competitor, right? Like if you haven't had like a big win in a while, like this shit is not easy on your psyche. So like I feel like that like meant a lot to Shine just to step up when it mattered to get that win, which put them in the position to close it out.
I don't know if you have any place for the content because I don't have fucking fighting game content right now, right? Like, but one day it will be cool for us to really talk about like the fucking the pitfalls that come when it comes to competing, like the fucking dark side of this shit, like how the shit we go through, the ups and the downs of it, you know what I mean? But like just really raw and unfiltered, because that's some shit I really would like to like get into and get off my chest, because I think people don't really think about it, because they just see you up there on stage, they see you win or they see you lose, and that's all they see, but they don't know how fucking, you know. But we're not doing that now, but I think one day that'd be some cool content.
We got to. I mean, that's part of what I've been trying to do a bit more, is like tell the stories.
You're right.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I think that's what draws people to the games. I mean, in general, in anything, it's the stories behind it, right? Like the gameplay is one thing, but I think it's the people at the end of the day giving it their all. And also like there's still the people who like don't respect that. That's also been a big pet peeve of mine, right?
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors. I love you guys, but I hate you too. It's a real love-hate relationship. But yeah, we'll get more into that. I'm down to do that for sure. But with this, we saw some of that emotion. We saw a lot of it because beyond, the other members of the team, Punk Mena, that was obviously the main story. So that first set, Punk going up 3-0 over Mena. Ooh. That was crazy. And I didn't expect the character pick. Like, that's what I was wondering too, right? Because, Bandits were on that whole journey to Japan to find themselves and unlock their next level of Street Fighter. And they were looking good.
And we saw it. They played amazing.
They were. But then Mena RD went to the Blanca versus Punk, and that Blanca got washed.
Played. I feel like he played more than one character that first set.
He played Blanca, and then he switched to Zangief in the end. So he played Blanca for 2 games, switched to Zangief, and the Zangief got close, and then he lost. So that's why the next set he went straight to Zangief.
Yeah, dude. Punk playing like that, I'm telling you, brother, it's hard for me not to see him win it. It's either, like I'm telling you, I think it's him or Punk or motherfucking dual Kevin. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my goddamn opinion. But at the end of the day, the way Punk is playing right now is crazy. 3-0 over Mena, on fire Mena, while Punk is cold and the match is personal. I mean, look, man, I feel like in the past, we've talked about it or whatever. Like, in the end of the day, he used to have issues in the clutch where Punk was be the best player you ever goddamn saw. But then when it in a clutch spot for championships and stuff, he has a billion championships already. But you get what I'm talking about. There would be certain moments where he would
the Grand Slams.
Yes. Yeah. Right now, oh no, I think Evo is over with. After Evo, he has proven it time and time again. I think that shit is all the monkeys off his motherfucking back, bro. That was personal. He's popping off in everything, bro, and he's still playing
the whole time.
The whole time.
That's the thing with Punk is like, I feel like sometimes he kind of needs that monkey on his back a little bit. Like this whole thing, like saying it's personal. It's funny because the context here is like, it's not personal between Punk and Mena. It's like the comparisons that get drawn between them. And, I did the recap. I drew a parallel to that with Punk and iDom in 2021. Right. So like, he had the pop off when he won. That's different. I know. I think it's similar. Because when I talked to Punk about that, I was like, iDom won Capcom Cup 2019, and then for that whole 2 years, they're being compared all the time, and then iDom was getting a winning record on him online as well. And then Punk goes and wins CPT, NA East or US East, and he pops off, I'm the definition of clutch, right? And I think that was inspired by us and No Neutral.
He's popping off on us.
I think that was on us because we're like questioning his clutch factor. And then the Mama Punk came in and everything. But I think that's part of it, because he said, I had no beef with iDom. I had beef because iDom was like, he talks now. He was mute back then.
Yes.
He never said a damn word. He just played the game and he was gone.
Bro, but the reason it's different is because, how can I put it, bro? Like, Punk does have an issue with the DR community. It's not like Punk had an issue with the New York community only.
But that's what I'm saying. No, but he had an issue with iDom fanboys. That's what he said. He said people would come into his stream chat saying iDom's better, iDom's this. It was the comparisons.
What's different is Mena's side, though. I don't give a fuck. You are saying my country. I don't give a damn if you being specific. I don't care about the wording. I don't care. Blah, blah, blah. That's why he's making a tweet, his profile picture. You are saying the DR community. Punk is not wrong, because there really are some people in the DR community that's trolling him and doing the most and putting him on a girl face and there's Mena's girlfriend and all this weird ass shit. There is some of that going on, some trolling, but it don't. How can I put this, brother? If you get in an argument with my girlfriend, you wild on my girlfriend. Even if my girl is wrong, brother, we gotta throw these. That's what's going on right now. This shit is personal now.
I agree. The stakes are. It's personal now. I agree. It got escalated because of that. But I'm saying the origin of it through Punk's psyche, me trying to do armchair psychologist right here. I feel like it's a similar origin, but now there's a bigger generalization, and there's a much more personal tie to escalate the stakes, right?
Yeah.
That's why iDom wouldn't have to respond, right? Like iDom was not involved in this. He was literally a bystander entirely. So iDom fanboys and people trying to troll Punk, basically, it was. I would honestly say it's more people trying to just troll Punk, right? But that fuels him. I don't think
that when it came to iDom that the fans did. I don't think it was the fans. I think, to be fair, what is similar. Punk can bring up the DR community, but I think he looks at it as anybody who has the fucking audacity to think they can be godlike. You got the audacity to think you can be not just godlike, but like people can start talking about you in a GOAT conversation and think you better than me. The nerve. He gonna find something to have a big ass. Y'all gonna have a big ass beef. If you gonna become, especially if you American or English speaking. Not like Punk got an issue, is like biased to the Japanese or something like that. But it's just, you can't really beef with fucking, that's weird. Like, you can't really beef
There's a language barrier, cultural barrier.
That's weird. But if you a English speaking motherfucker from any country and you goddamn think you about to be God like that, oh, for sure. I think that's what's going on too. That's why he said the community, but he also said, I'm the GOAT. You see what I'm saying? When he popped up the first time, I mean, you messaged me like, yo, what is Punk saying in there? He was like, this is my shit. This my shit.
Right.
I've heard that term from plenty of black men in this on this earth in different mediums. When they say this my shit, I've seen it in battle rap. Shout out to Sue Surf. Sue Surf, that's the guy. People think this new guy's the guy. He's battling the new guy. Sue Surf smoke his ass. The crowd go crazy. That's my shit. Verbatim, that's what he say. It's the principle. That's what Punk feel like. This is his house. This my shit. I'm the GOAT. I'm the best. And y'all stupid as fuck for even RobTV. You stupid for hyping up this nigga like that. Stop hyping up everybody else. Oh, it's me. Right. That's how he look at it, bro. Right. But Mena, you got Mena fucked up though.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think it's not necessarily the actions of his opponent. It's the hype surrounding them. That's what drives Punk. And so what I'm saying is I think that brings out another level to him. So Evo is the exception, I would say. I don't know, the stars just aligned for Evo for Punk. Like, he was just in the zone, locked in. There wasn't really like any backstory or anything to it. There was no personal vendetta. But we've seen in the other big wins that Punk has, there's usually like he's trying to fight the hype of the other player and be like, nah, like you said, you guys are dumb for thinking he could even how dare you even compare him to me, right? And he's almost, I feel like he always talks past his opponent. Right, he's not talking to Mena RD. He's not talking to iDom. He's talking passive. Like, you guys thought this guy was nice, and his opponents are just trying to like hang on for dear life. You know what I mean? They're just trying to be their best. Like, oh my god, this guy is going crazy right now. And so, yeah, it's always an interesting dynamic like that. And I think you could see, like, I didn't expect that at first, but as soon as he won that first, like, I knew there was for sure, like, tension there, 100%. But to that level, like, when he won that first set, and then you could hear the cameras panning around the crowd, and you can hear it faintly in the audio, you can hear, that's right, DR. Where you at, DR? This is my. You can hear it. I was like, what the? Like, he was calling DR out to the crowd, and then the next set, after he beats Mena Zangief, the close set, which was a 6 set, and that could have gone either way. Like, that was actually really close. But, you know, Punk closed it out and definitely had the edge there. Then he's running in the crowd and everything, and his body language. It was like, oh, this is fucking serious. This is not like a fun, I'm hype, I'm excited to win pop off. That was like, I will fight somebody right now energy. Like, you could see the adrenaline in his body language. Like, it was like, okay, don't want to like look at him funny right now. You know what I mean? Like, it was on the verge of aggression.
You know what you saying? All the way that he talked past his opponent and all this popping off and shit. It sound like the Alpha. That's what it sound like, right? And that's his nickname, right? I just want to point this out to people that's watching this right now, because I'd have people come to me in person talk about our trash talk that we did and shit like that. So I know people paying attention to the words. Bro, I'm not going to tell you how to be cocky, but I'm going to tell you don't be a bitch. Because I promise you, one of the reasons why certain players is B-level players forever. I know this. I swear to God. I swear to God. And yes, I'm qualified to tell you this. I've only ever went up trajectory-wise as far as when I was competing in Street Fighter. I left at my peak. I still been killing these niggas. I'm telling you, it's because they too humble. Look at Punk. Punk, the God, the Alpha, XYZ. Oh, well, I mean, of course, he's Punk. He has all this. Nigga, he called himself that before he was goddamn Punk. I called myself Hollywood, RobTV, before I was ever going to different countries and doing all the shit I'm doing right now. I already called myself that before y'all would call me that. Kanye West, you a crazy motherfucker. Fuck Kanye West. But musically,
when he was in his bag, and
when he was in his bag. That is how none of the great people who do great shit, most of the people who do great shit, especially in something competitive, have a fucking nigga. I'm telling you, you gotta be, I don't give a fuck if you compete, whatever you're doing. You gotta have some type of ego in this shit. I don't care. I just posted a picture. I'm hosting a show. I posted a picture from Evo Awards with my suit and shit, my mic, and I put a microphone and I said best in the world. Why? Because I'm better than everybody on earth at my job. Period. Even if they do Grammys, nigga, whatever, nigga, I'm better than everybody at what I do by a lot. And that's my genuine opinion. Please take that and internalize it to help you in what the fuck you do, because that's what we saying with Punk the God and Mena RD. Motherfuckers think they the best.
It's interesting because, you know, people like to wax poetically about like the humble champion, and they like revere that so much. But, you know, I think there's something much more powerful in a way of having that level of cockiness. Because in a way, you're putting an open challenge to yourself to live up to those expectations. Because I think people they react negatively to that. Like, that is a known thing. If you are cocky or arrogant or whatever, people will try to, the nail that stands up gets hammered down. You know what I mean? Like, people will try to put you in your place and humble you. That is a thing that drives crabs in a bucket. And if you find yourself engaged in that behavior, I would also take a look at yourself. Like, if you're sitting on internet comments and be like, why is this guy, blah, blah, blah? Like, you need to work on yourself. I see that shit everywhere. It's all over YouTube. It's all over internet comments. People love to try to drag people down because they don't believe they deserve to be that cocky, whatever domain they are. But on the other hand, if you are that person, you are putting an open challenge to yourself to live up to those expectations, because you're claiming to be a little bit bigger than you really are at that moment, right? I think there's always like a powerful energy to that, because then you're like, oh shit, I just said all that. I better make that the reality coming soon. And if you're constantly setting those expectations a little bit greater than your current accomplishments, you always have to live up to those yourself. And I do think there's like a little bit of a psychological motivation there. And even you brought up Magnus Carlsen. He has talked a lot about it in his interviews too, about like the best mental state to be competitively. And just to clarify for people who don't know, Magnus Carlsen is the greatest chess player beyond infinitely beyond everybody else. Like, there's no comparison.
He's like
it was the perfect recipe. Like, whatever genetics, upbringing, training, whatever, perfect storm. Like, he is just above and beyond for now the greatest chess player of all time.
Team Liquid.
And he always talks about, what's that?
He's on Team Liquid.
Oh, true. That's great. We got to talk about that soon. That's crazy. Yeah, chess is an esport now. That's wild. But he always says that the best place to be is a little bit like this the space between optimistic and delusional. Like that's the best place to be mentally. And I've always talked about that too, where like I've noticed, and I think that's what I suffer from personally. Is like I can tap into that like cocky part sometimes, but not enough. Like I always notice that about myself as a competitor. And the people I was around who are like getting a little bit more ahead, they talk a little delusional. And I'm like, man, I would love to have that level of delusion.
Yeah.
Right. They feel it. Right. So you got to find that space, because sometimes I feel like people are a little delusional, but it works out. Like when you start popping off in the scene, I was like, oh, Rob's delusional. But I think it worked out for you.
It was working. You got to, bro. Yeah. But I think, that's fascinating the way you break down that Punk and the parallels. You're actually right between like the iDom situation and the Mena situation. Then now, so he smokes him 3-0. I'm like, what the fuck did I just see? Right? I can't believe what just transpired. Clutch time Mena getting 3-0, Punk popping off on him and all that. So I'm like, dude, do Punk know he about to have to fight him again? You know what I mean? I'm like, do Punk know they about to have to run it back?
You don't care, yeah.
He did not give a damn about that run back, bro.
And the way he was playing too was insane. Like his footsies and whiff punishes, like the way he was using Cammy sweep on a technical level, I was just like, dude, I've never seen whiff punishes like that in this game. Like, I didn't think that was possible.
The way, oh my God. I know some people watch Extra Trashy and everything, bro, and like maybe they might not even have competed in a fighting game. The reactions that we are seeing from Punk is not human. Like, I'm telling you, he is whiff punishing shit that is fast, like he quick, but then he also is going to anti-air if you neutral jump and anti-air if you jump forward and check your drive rush. Bro, I'm telling you, man, it was like playing Punk in 5. I never felt nothing like that. It's a weird feeling. Like when you play against him, options that are options against other world-class best players in the world are no longer options when you play against him. I'm not trolling. I'm not dick riding or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a whole different game. Shit that's not whiff punishable consistently is whiff punishable consistently. And eventually it's like boxing when you watch the best boxer, like Tank Davis or something, and you wonder why, how come his opponent's scared? Why ain't he throwing nothing? Nigga, cause he gonna punch the shit out of me if I move my hands from my chin. You know what I mean, bro? Like,
right.
So he's playing. I will argue that I gotta see if he wins World Championship or Cup. If he wins either of those, this is better than 2017 Punk.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. So that's why this is so big, right? Because like the storylines out of this, like so Punk beats Mena RD in the Zangief match was a great match, and Mena RD was coming clutch too, but like he couldn't close it out. That would have been. I almost kind of wish Mena RD won that set just to keep the action going, but it was also sick how it ended. They threw Punk up early against Louis Man, and then you could see they cut the camera to Team Bandits when that happened, and Mena just like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like he's hoping, because the way it works is at the end, after Punk beat Mena Zangief, Bandits had to win 4 straight to win the whole thing, right? So they're away, which means they have to put up their team order, and then FlyQuest can send up whatever players they want. So they put up Kaba, Louis Man, and then Mena for anchor. And so Chris loses to Kaba, they're mounting a comeback. Okay, and then Punk's like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna snuff it out right now. They put Punk up against Louis Man, and then Mena was like, man, I was really hoping I could have at least one last shot at Punk. He looks up to the sky, but Louis Man played godlike, almost actually closed it out. That was amazing. So shout outs to Louis Man. He did his thing. But Punk closes it out, pops off like crazy, has the crazy post-match interview where you have to intervene, and like, dude, you could hear the adrenaline in his voice. You could hear the shaking. Like I've been there, but like I felt that feeling a couple times in my life. Like I know how that feels. Like where you have so much adrenaline, you don't even know what to do with it.
I seen it on camera before.
I mean, it happens, man. Like, and like it's a little scary. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what's gonna happen. Like he was going through some crazy emotions in that moment. And then he has the tweet calling out DR, and then Mena RD makes his profile picture. The Punk tweet where Punk calls out DR, where you at? It came full circle because it was personal for Punk for a while, and now it's personal for Mena. So I think it came full circle. This is where the iDom one didn't go. For iDom, it was never personal. For Mena RD, it is.
I'm gonna add a layer for y'all too. It is to the beef. Y'all also seen for some reason right before Street Fighter League US Finals, Punk randomly throws a jab at Chris T, puts a tweet out talking about crack T. Now this is a joke that Punk made from like years ago now, But he randomly brings it up again right before Street Fighter League. And y'all might not know, Chris T is Bandit's coach. Chris T is at Street Fighter League and everything. Like, that's their coach. Like, he in Japan with them and all that. She a big part of their success. So even that, it's like that's a random ass tweet to make out of nowhere. And it's unofficial. Like, it's not like Punk confirmed this or Mena or nobody like that. But he made that right before US Finals, which seemed like a jab in itself. So them boys going at it right now, and this is peak. I feel like right now this is shaping up to be one of the better cups, bro. And of course, $1 million online, all that shit. If we get, could you imagine a universe? Not to get into our fanfic, bro, but goddamn it, a universe where we get Punk versus Mena in a $900,000 money match. Oh my,
that's insane.
Oh my god. I wouldn't bet on that. I don't know.
The thing is, like, we have stakes going to Capcom Cup, and I think also this Capcom Cup is just better just because they had so many more offline qualifiers. So the level of play, this is like the first Capcom Cup in a while where I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, this feels a little bit like 2019 level Capcom Cup. You know what I mean? I think the last Capcom Cup for Street Fighter V also was pretty good, but I don't think I don't know. It just didn't like the storylines were strong, but it didn't really have the same oomph. I feel like I don't really know what to put that.
Whereas this year
on for.
It's a weird word. It's weird to explain, but I know what you're talking about.
Right. There's more energy going into this one.
Yeah.
So we have at least some personal stakes with the Punk Mena RD thing, and then just the level of play. But you can't, dude. Like, anyone could still win or lose.
Hey, listen,
even after all this.
No, bro. So we had the interview, the Punk and the Punk interview, right? He going crazy and everything. Your breakdown of that was phenomenal, by the way. I was like, oh, look at Brian knowing some motherfucking psychology, some motherfucking hosting and shit like that. What the fucking nigga Brian to talk about? I'm like, damn, that's a perfect goddamn breakdown. But we need the Punk versus Mena. We need to go down. I want to see it at Blink Respawn or something. I need it. Like, at this point, did you see, bro, he was going back and forth with Blink on my fucking Twitter, the Blink account.
Right.
And he literally is like, they're like, yeah, come to Blink Respawn, something. And then Punk quote tweeted and it's like, I mean, well, just make sure you got the appearance fee for the king to slay everyone on the island. What? Bro, listen, you got more balls than me, brother. You got bigger balls than me, champion.
That would be crazy to say, then roll up to DR. That would be.
I had to put up a disclaimer. He'll be all right. He just got to put up a disclaimer. Hey, this is all. Let's have armed security. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. Let the police.
That's crazy.
That's it. Could you imagine?
The DR community,
they're dope as fuck. I love it down there.
They're amazing. They're super proud, and that's the thing. I think it culminated to the point where I think Punk generalized a bit too much, in my opinion. He's his own man. He can do whatever he wants. I think he took the trolls a bit to heart. There's definitely some crazy DR trolls out there who go a little ham.
I think they exist. I think it's implied that he's only talking about them. I don't think he feel like that about the whole DR community. I think it's implied that he only talk about them. Like just the trolls, but he is officially at war with all of them. In the end of the day, like you said, DR community.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it is what it is. He's talking crazy.
Hey, you need a villain, bro. You need a villain. I think this helps.
That's true.
Not personally. I think I'm not a believer in all publicity is good publicity. Like, but I think this is good for the DR scenes. Good for Punk. I think it's good for everybody. Like, especially if we get the match. Like, DR don't look bad. People care. So now Blink Respawn was already fire as hell last year. It was fire the year before that.
If Punk shows up.
Oh my God.
I don't know if he will, but if he does, that'd be crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah, but for Capcom Cup itself, though, I mean, do you think we'll even get it? Like, I don't know. The thing about this Capcom Cup is the level of play is so high. It's in Japan.
Yeah. It's not easy to call.
It's not easy to call,
but would I be surprised? No, because that's literally my top two people to win Capcom Cup. So that means by definition, I got them having a high chance of running into each other.
So was Mena RD last year, right? It's just so hard to call. It's so hard to call.
Hey, look, you know the difference? Mena won Street Fighter League last time. He had two things to focus on. He lost Street Fighter
Okay,
League.
that's Punk now.
Now he focused on just what's the
There's
name?
so many parallels here because
Think about it. Last season, Mena RD got second in Evo. He won Street Fighter League Worlds, and then he won EVO Japan, which is an absurd season 1. Season 2, Punk won EVO, Street Fighter League US.
Punk is so close.
I think it's fair to say winning Street Fighter League Worlds from this position is way easier than winning Capcom Cup. Way easier. Infinitely easier. I feel like Punk might just smoke Street Fighter League Worlds. I mean, obviously, the team format requires the other team members to step up, but
shit, boy, them other teams crazy. Listen, this is the hardest one because they got.
It is the hardest one.
Europe finally has a God bless the former Europe teams, but respectfully, y'all getting y'all ass beat back in the day. This team now, the Birds and fucking
unfair
and fucking Phenom and on it, bro. Stop NIP and fucking the Birds, bro. That's not fair. That's crazy. And then Good 8 Squad is back, and then you got FlyQuest. I mean, the best team on paper might be Europe this year.
I don't know if you can call that
on paper. Hold up, who Good 8 Squad got?
Kawano, Pugera, Gachikun, and I always forget the last. It's Mochi. I always forget this. There's the 2 Dawson players. It's our Torimeshi. I think it's Mochi.
Yeah, hey, I ain't gonna. Okay, shit, I don't know. And then like FlyQuest, they all playing good, but then you got fucking Punk, like,
right,
bro. People don't know
obviously
how
Punk
much
is
of a power
the next
up it
level.
is when you have somebody that's a fucking Titan, a fucking attack on Titan, badass motherfucker sitting in anchor. You don't know what those. Me and Sean was talking about that shit, but like, bro, the 10 points that whatever players get before him just feels like a extra fucking body blow,
right?
Softening y'all up because it's like, you know, this dude behind you probably is about to smoke whoever he got to play. So,
right,
FlyQuest has the best anchor out of everybody in Street Fighter League Worlds, and one player can win the whole tournament. To be fair,
right?
Like one player, the way the format is, one person can get all the points. I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think there's a few situations where they can't, but I think there are also situations where they can
theoretically carry the whole thing.
But I don't think they would need to, though. I don't think it would. I expect Sean and everybody to go fucking crazy too. So, you know, if we win this, everybody shut the fuck up. Street Fighter League US is the best in the world. We won last year. If we win this year, shut up. We the best.
The average level is still higher.
We the best. No, it don't matter.
The average level is still higher.
Can they beat us? No.
If they did a round robin with every team versus every team, they would have more points.
And if every tournament ever that anybody ever won in singles was a round robin, then a different person might have won. But that's not how we do this shit in the FGC, baby. Who the best?
That's not what you said. You said who's the best champion. Then yeah, I agree.
We the best. If we win this, now we might not. I like our chances. I like Sean. I like motherfucking Chris CCH. He has something to prove. I like Psycho.
And if Team EU wins, is EU the best?
No, because they didn't win back to back.
I'm just saying, you know that there's a difference between the top team winning the championship and the overall hardest league to qualify out of.
I didn't say it was the hardest league I didn't say the hardest league to qualify out of.
You said best.
This motherfucker had to beat
very loaded term, best.
They gotta beat Mena. They gotta beat Mena and them to get out. Are you kidding me? You gotta beat who better than Mena in other leagues? Name a human that you gonna say is better than. Name a human in the other leagues that you say is better than Mena RD. Nigga, go ahead and say it.
I'm just gonna go down. I'm gonna go down his tournament results and pick every.
No. Say who's better.
Whoever beat him in the last tournament. Well, whoever wins is better, right? Based on your own definition. So I'm gonna go with Fudo. Like whoever won, right?
Whoa, Mena. Whoa. Oh, let me call. No,
whoever won.
I was gonna call his ass right now.
That's not my logic. I'm just using yours right now. I'm just using yours.
I said us winning 2 seasons in a row. Like Mena having 2 Capcom Cups, us winning 2 Street Fighter Leagues in a row. When Japan won Street Fighter League back to back, it was yeah. Understandably. So now let us get our credit. If we win back to back, and this time it will be us winning the hardest one of all.
Yeah,
you got a team. This will be 2 years in a row, and this is the hardest Street Fighter League easily.
This would be the hardest.
Bruh,
I agree this is going to be the hardest one for sure.
And fucking, you got to beat
the Birds. These mercenaries for hires are too fucked up, man. The Birds, it's crazy how the Birds are.
Now they on Team Reject, bro.
For sure they're going to Japan.
Bro.
I swear this is the other thing I wanted to talk about too. Like, so this Capcom Cup, it's in Japan, which it's a long time due. Like, I think it's awesome it's Japan. I'm about to figure out how to watch it live. That's my only concern, selfishly, right? You know, it's our turn to let the other side of the world get to watch Capcom Cup live, and obviously Japan is the home of Street Fighter, so it's fitting for it to be in Japan. But Street Fighter League is actually the final day of this, right? They're trying to position Street Fighter League to be the biggest, which I personally think is fucking dumb. I don't care anywhere near as much about Street Fighter League as the $1 million fucking tournament Capcom Cup. That is the point of Capcom Cup. I'm sorry, but
be fair,
I see what they're trying to do.
It starts. That's how. I'm not saying they'll succeed or not, but that's how it starts. To be fair, at first you don't give a fuck. But at some point you got to
build it up.
When I posted my first goddamn music reaction video, ain't nobody probably give a fuck. But I had to start and like, hey, we only know you for fight games. You got to start at some point. And
but you didn't post your music reaction video on a channel with 10 million subscribers, and you get what I'm saying? They're trying. It's not that it's building something up in parallel. It's replacing something that is the draw. So that's a little different. They're trying to shoehorn it.
Street Fighter League. This might sound blasphemous. I think Street Fighter League is a better product than singles, and I love singles. But I think for entertainment value, for the average person, the emotion.
Absolutely disagree.
This is what I'm coming from, Brian. For me personally, I'm gonna watch a singles tournament because I'm hardcore FGC. Like that's I'm gonna love that shit. I don't need but there is no interviews. There is no. Like that emotion is different. There is no me seeing who this dude is as a person, me following his whole journey, XYZ. I'm seeing every single match is on camera. The emotion is different, and I think
the potential is there.
Yeah,
I get the potential, but
that's my point.
It's not hitting. I'm sorry, the drama. I think there's more. Maybe on a baseline, you at least have a more minimum guaranteed storyline through with Street Fighter League at minimum, because there can be some singles tournaments where like it's not ceremonious and like someone just washes the tournament and like it doesn't really speak to anyone. Even
if it's a close tournament, it's not
the peak of a singles tournament. I'm sorry, it blows on average Street Fighter League out of the water. No. If you have the perfect Evo, the perfect Capcom Cup, I'm telling you, it blows Street Fighter League out of the water.
Nope, because you know what I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
As the motherfucker who does the interviews, do you know the only place where I keep seeing players cry consistently? They cry. I've been around these people for years of my life at this point, and the only place I see them drop fucking tears on camera is when I'm interviewing them at Street Fighter League, specifically, not Kumite, not this, not that, because the emotion is higher. As people, you know, I played in 2 seasons of that shit. I dropped tears, but I've dropped tears from singles tournaments too. But when
people won Evo, they cried. What do you?
No, but these people are not crying from winning. It's not tears of fucking joy, nigga. They crying from I'm letting my team down. I swear to God, I'm telling you, I can say names. That from I feel like I let my team down. XYZ. The emotion is entirely different. Even Mena taking his jersey off, throwing it, go home, dude. That is because of the emotion of Street Fighter League. Ask anybody. Ask any of these players who play right now.
I understand and they will the potential.
They will tell you.
It hasn't been.
I'm just saying
there.
Emotionally. All I'm saying is emotionally, factually, every player is going to tell you that emotionally, Street Fighter League is a lot harder than a singles tournament.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I mean, it's way harder.
I agree. But I just the product has way deeper hit there. Are they?
Well, you know what? I think they need to make it. I think they need to make it live. It
needs to be live. I think. It has potential, and I agree. I agree, team, and I think in general that's why team sports are more popular than single sports. I understand, but what I'm saying is it's still a singles game at the end of the day, so they have to get creative with the format to achieve that. So what I'm saying is fighting games are not inherently a team game at all, so they have to manage the format and the production. There's a lot more moving parts that have to really fall into place to execute that, to achieve that for the audience. So I think that's really hard to do.
They sold out. Listen, you gotta think. Street Fighter League in Japan
is huge.
Is fucking football. and that's not because they got a fucking better Street Fighter League or no dumb shit like that, motherfucker. It's just because Street Fighter in general is bigger in Japan. But with that being the case, even here, shit is changing, brother. Like, we didn't even do it live. And of course, we did the U.S. Finals live, the first U.S. Finals. It sold out immediately. People came, like, I don't think people think about, and that's a whole nother stream we could do or something, bro. But like, this shit is changing. Like the business, like this shit is getting bigger. Like people sold out tickets not to play in a tournament as well, not to goddamn go play casuals, just to go and be entertained and enjoy a show and watch Street Fighter League. Sold out the venue expeditiously. Like,
yeah, but how big was that venue? I'm just saying we do that with singles tournaments. We sell at venues. I agree it's going to grow,
but I'm saying as far as the singles tournaments, you saying that that's not a singles tournament is a tournament and it's an open bracket tournament though.
No. But people at tournaments, they sell out with spectator badges now. That's been a thing for a long time.
Yeah, even like Kumite, for example, is going to sell out and shit like that. Yeah, no, I agree, but I'm just saying that shows that Street Fighter League does have interest too, bro. I meet hella people in the world, like just anywhere in the world.
It has interest.
They tell me what I'm every detail of Street Fighter League.
It hasn't. I agree, but just the viewership is lower. Anything Western, the viewership is objectively lower for Street Fighter League. I'm sorry. I think it's a good product, but it's objectively way less popular right now than Evo, than CEO, than whatever. Any Frosty Faustings, that gets more live viewership than Street Fighter League.
Well,
it just does.
It's not live.
It just does.
Well, it's not live viewership.
Even Street Fighter League, the playoffs, they had like 10K viewers, which is good.
Yeah, it's really
which is good. Yeah, but like no, you get more for the open bracket majors.
I'm just saying, but
it still hasn't in the West. It still hasn't reached that peak yet.
In business, that's what they call. Of course, that's what they call a pivot, brother. Like, so I agree that one is bigger right now, but something being bigger right now does not mean that they shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like,
until they solve the production issues, it will never be as big. Because, like I said, I think the problem is. I agree with all the emotional stakes.
You sound crazy.
Until they solve the production issues, brother. The show went on for 9 hours. The problem with Street Fighter League right now is the downtime.
Every single tournament hosting the show, and the production issues are through the roof in every country that I go to.
That's the esports ones. You keep hosting the esports ones. I think that's the big problem. I agree. Okay, you have bring up a good point though. But I think the big problem with a lot of these is like the as we're scaling up. The rate of entertainment per unit of time has reduced because we keep having issues with like getting the matches going. So I think that's been an overall big problem with the scene. And I think Street Fighter League is like the pinnacle of that because it requires a lot more moving parts. So if they can solve that, I think it has potential. But the problem is we get so little matches per unit of time. Like that is a big part. So I think OG, more grassroots open bracket tournaments, they tend to kind of hit that pace a bit better. And I think that keeps people much more engaged for a long period of time. But I agree with you. I think like Street Fighter League, team tournaments in general have a minimum level of stakes and emotional involvement. Whereas like an open bracket, some tournaments could end up just being a wash and like people don't care. That can happen.
At the grassroots tournament too, bro, when the setup is laggy as fuck, we just play. Let me be very fucking clear. Nigga, I went to every grassroots tournament on planet Earth before I even hosted, and I played in the bitches seriously. And if it was laggy, I just had to play on that shit, and all of us would be, you and all of us would be like, man, the stream setup laggy. Right. But we just play. In Street Fighter League and big productions, the stakes are higher. The stakes higher. So the player, that's not the fucking production team. The players just are different. The grassroots is not doing better. If anything, the player just sits there and says, hey, no, I'm not playing on this. They need to fix this.
Right.
And until
they also have more negotiating power.
Exactly.
And grassroots just get DQ'd.
You just sit there, if you don't play, then get the fuck off the setup. So no, grassroots player is not doing better. No, sorry. No, they're not.
What do you mean grassroots? I'm saying
saying as far as that.
For the viewer, yes.
But for the player,
for the viewer, yes.
Okay, well, tell Punk and them to play on the laggy setup then. So we can hurry up and see more matches.
I mean, what I'm saying is production has a lot to grow. Listen, you don't see this shit with other esports stuff. I'm saying we're still going through growing pains. But I think until Street Fighter League can solve that problem and also be live, and I think that's why Japan is so big, because I do think what you're talking about does get people involved. They care about that. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm saying for me personally, though, I still much more care about singles tournaments.
Well, I think forever you will be that way because you are like on some fighting game nerd shit like me. So you never,
brother. I've had so many people watch random Evos. I've seen so many people watch random Evos. I have people who tune like Evo has crossed that threshold where people tune into the drama without knowing about it.
And all this shit, bro. No, I'm telling you from my experience meeting people and shit. Hell no, it's a fucking team tournament, brother. That's a whole different business. You know, we talk about the business. Also,
better for business.
Team has esports team.
Better for business.
What the fuck are you even doing investing in a singles tournament? Like, what are you even doing? Unless it's EWC and shit. What is the logic? On Street Fighter League, it's guaranteed. This is your team, and people get to be fans of teams. Like, no matter, we can switch players out, and you still can be a fan of
I don't know if that works. That's been so we're like Street Fighter is like 20 years behind in the esports scene, so they've already done this with other games, right? They've had, you know, C9, whatever, CLG, these have been orgs, but they've already seen that issue where like people do not care about the teams with rosters that are rotating out. Like, that's been an issue that has already existed for league tournaments, for whatever, you take Valorant, whatever. There's been a bit of a problem. There's some people who are fans of the orgs who stick with the orgs, but there's also been a lot of people who are just fans of the players. I think we've seen in those other esports scenes where, like, at the end of the day, the individual does have more pull than the org.
That's true.
That's been a problem that they're trying to solve. But it's closer.
Fans than us. They got a higher percentage of team fans than we have, at least.
Yeah, of course, because it's new for us. But I just think that's what I'm saying. I still feel like fighting games, I think, are inherently limited in that sense, where like it'll never be a perfect fit. I don't think it'll ever be a perfect fit because just the way the games are.
I think they already got it. I think, of course, like you said, production wise, as far as, I mean, it's not even production. I don't know. I don't want to say this shit publicly, so whatever. I'll just let people think what they think on that part. But motherfuckers think production teams is making the game lag and they not knowing what the fuck they doing. Like, bro, these niggas
no, it's not that. It's just there's a shit ton of moving parts. No, it's not that. But it's just like
it just is built in a certain way that if in computers, if I'm plugging shit and unplugging it all the time, and you know what I mean, your computer gonna do some weird ass shit being on for. But
say theoretically, there's infinite budget, infinite people. They could have multiple setups. They could have, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, pretend to be the consumer at the end of the day who doesn't have any, like, we have ties to the industry, we know people, whatever. Pretend to be a random person watching it. You're watching it. I want to see the teams play. I want to see the action. Okay, there's downtime.
But there's downtime.
I'm losing interest. So I'm just saying, as a human who doesn't care, they change the channel. So
well, let's let them at the singles tournaments that we are championing right now. They are playing on bad setups, and every tournament I'm seeing Big Bird, Punk. I'm seeing all of my homies tweeting out that the shit was laggy as fuck after they.
No, it's been a problem,
and they just play. But we get to just see the match, and we see the nigga drop 50 combos. See Ender Walker drop a fucking B&B combo, but he just played and he just lose. And he traveled.
You're not making a counterpoint to me. What I'm saying is production on every side, in terms of like standardizing tournament setups, has been a fucking joke. I think esports. You know what I think? I think esports for FGC has been a joke forever. So you're not. I don't.
It's not. I
agree with you.
I think
it's all. I know. I think it's 100% a joke.
I think the game might have to be optimized better or some shit for tournament.
No, like, I think our esports scene has been a joke for a very long time. I think we've been doing it. We've been doing it for so long, and we still have these. We don't have standardized setup rules. We don't have any kind of collaboration across different TOs. What is the default tournament monitor plus the default settings on what setup, what hardware? What is the handbook? What is the way we can validate the setups? Who is the intermediate between the players and the production, the TOs, to ensure the setup meets some kind of gold standard so that we know it's as standard tournament play? If I wanted to prep for a tournament right now, how can I replicate that at home?
Well, for one, what you can literally get to it, even if you practice on the exact same setup that they gonna have, it still might not be the same because of lag and shit.
There's
like
ways. There's ways to do. No, there's ways they can do. Unfortunately, There's ways to capture the image, get the exact. They can containerize it. There's ways to do this to replicate a setup. There's ways to do that.
But I think, like I said, I think that you are more. I think you're. Speaking of great hyperbole to say that our esports shit is a joke. We didn't dedicate our life to this shit, bro. Like, nigga, this shit ain't no goddamn joke. We goddamn, you know how many hours you didn't put into this shit, like the blood, sweat, and tears we didn't put into this shit. I've sat and thought about it like, damn, like my best friends in this world is from fucking the FGC, bro.
I get what you're saying.
This shit ain't no motherfucking joke. And people behind, and I know the people business-wise behind the scenes that are doing this shit, and they not motherfucking playing and joking either. Niggas is really trying and putting in a whole lot of motherfucking work. I ain't saying shit is perfect yet, but shit is way better right now. Bro, you can't tell me this shit is a joke when this, like, shit has progressed so much from even when we came into this shit, esports-wise, to right now. I definitely just saw a motherfucker win $1 million and disappear from playing
another joke. Another joke. Like, I don't know what you want to tell me. Listen, what I'm saying is,
what can you do about this random ass motherfucker winning $1 million?
For how long we've been doing this, I'm just saying there has been very little progress in terms of the playing conditions for the players. And so maybe I will always speak in hyperbole, because I will always be rooting or pushing for the side of the players, always. And I will speak
me too. And you
hyperbole.
saying that, but then you saying that the grassroots is better when they got to play in a laggy ass setup and they just fucking do it. And you criticize
it's better for the viewers.
It's
better for the viewers
when they play on bad setups. Honestly, right? Yes.
No, I'm not. Okay, well, you made a side argument. I'm not saying when they play on bad setup. I'm saying it's better when the rate of matches is higher. It's better for the viewers. That's what I mean.
But the only way that ever happens right now with the rate of matches higher is when they play on bad setup. That's a fact. That's what happens 9 times out of 10, and every player will tell you that.
It's frequent. I wouldn't say it's every time, but it is. I don't disagree. It's frequent.
Over half. Over half.
Oh, it's not over half.
Okay, well, it's at least it might be.
But I agree. I agree that does contribute to it for sure. I agree that part of the downtime for Street Fighter League is because they stopped because what happened at Street Fighter League was the monitors was going out, right? So they had to replace one of the setups. They had a dual PC setup, and they had to go to one PC, right? They had to swap everything out. That caused like 20 minutes of downtime. Like there's issues. Like, and I'm just saying, hopefully one day we can iron it out. But it's been a long time.
Yes, but
it's been a long time.
I'm just saying, it's not but our esports shit is not a joke. I take that seriously because it's like when I played.
I speak
Street Fighter
with hyperbole there.
I didn't like, but when people would be like, "Oh, Street Fighter 5 is the worst shit ever." Like, bro, shut the fuck up, nigga. Like, don't. We not about to sit up here and make our product look bad for anybody that might be watching, for fans watching, because they look up to motherfucking Brian there for RobTV, XYZ. They fuck with us, and they're like, "Oh, if they think this shit all trash, yeah, this shit is trash." Like, no, this shit ain't trash. It's fire. We got the coldest players in the world. We got the coldest talent in this bitch. Brian have the best content creator. Nigga, our shit fire. But it do need to get better though. Don't get me wrong.
Sure, and I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Would you agree that it has improved, even if not as fast as you want? This is better than what it fucking used to be in fucking 2018, 2017.
I would say some parts are better, but I still think
esports wise, I think nothing has progressed in terms of depends on the event. I would say that in general, it's been very stagnant in terms of the viewing experience. Very stagnant.
Red Bull Kumite is colder than anything you about to bring up from those years. Go ahead. Red Bull Kumite was New York.
Red Bull Kumite was doing it back then as well.
I'm talking about Red Bull Kumite New York. That's the coldest one of all time. Respect.
Yes.
And that's the modern day esports shit. That shit was crazy, brother. Like, what the fuck is that?
Okay, but I think the problem is it's also been really consolidated because like Esports World Cup looks great, but like EWC that's Saudi money doing this whole thing, and then there's Red Bull Kumite.
Is helping everybody. That's helped the players tremendous. Like that's helped.
Sure, but what I'm getting at is our general CPT stuff. It's that.
You know the weird thing,
our grassroots tournaments. Oh, it depends. But I think CEO and Combo Breaker are killing it.
COVID fucked them over, bro. Though to be fair, COVID fucked them over.
Sure, but I'm more talking about the CPT
viewing experience has been very stagnant, and in fact, it regressed because everything went online. So I don't think it's gotten better. I think it's gotten worse.
You know the funny thing, you said that you were looking out for the players, but if you think about it though, as a player, shit was a lot rougher with that old shit where you have to travel to 50,000 tournaments. That if we talking as adults, as grown ass men, them tournaments you pay $2,000 per tournament.
I guess if I were to clarify that, I would say I look out for the players a lot, but I also look out for the audience more. I think the audience is the number one thing because without the audience, none of this matters.
I agree.
So I care more about that at the end of the day. I'd rather the players be a little stressed, to be honest, if it means that the audience gets a better product.
But there are things that I err on the side of the players.
I just think that other. Yeah, I agree with you. I get what you're saying on that. I just think like that shit was hype as fuck. Like our old offline when we traveled all the tournament, that shit was hype, and it was a tournament every fucking weekend. Like that shit was lit, but it was very unsustainable.
It was a pay to win. No, none of that could have lasted. That was all funny money at the end of the day, which is the problem with all of this. I think overall though, the esports scene has gotten to a bit more of a healthier place. Like it's more sustainable, I think now.
More stable, they're building stuff that can be consistent.
Yes, I agree with that. And I also agree with Street Fighter League being that, because like the business side of things, with Street Fighter League now being like the end thing in Japan and Street Fighter League being huge in Japan, I really do feel like the business is completely going to move to Japan soon. I really foresee a world where the birds are in Japan, where like Mena RD moves to Japan. I think that's where it's all going. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to catch up with Street Fighter League US and EU, but I feel like Japan is really starting to become the place to be for Street Fighter.
I mean, in the end of the day, I mean, like in Japan is that's the what they call it, Brian? Fuck, I can't think of it. But like basically like the nucleus of all of this shit in the end of the day, Street Fighter, and it's just way bigger over there. Like Louis Man was like, bro, I'm in motherfucking public and ran into some goddamn fans. He said he was surprised. Louis Man not even as big as like Mena and people like that and everything. Like I know you was meeting hella fans over there. I never been over in Japan, but it might be something where competition becomes a good thing. If these motherfuckers is going over to Japan, then the other scenes might be like, all right. We need to goddamn start helping out more and making a better ecosystem for these players in Europe and in North America and shit like that. Because you can't lose all of our best players to Japan.
Well, how though? Because Japan, the thing about Street Fighter League in Japan is that those players, I believe most of them are salaried or all of them. I can't say for sure. What I understand is that, you know, the Street Fighter League Japan, it's filmed live. They do it online, so they film a full season, which is over multiple months. It's like an actual league where you play over a season. Whereas like Street Fighter League US, you know, it's pre-recorded over 2 weeks, and Street Fighter League EU is filmed live for 2 weeks, like in the middle. Japan, you have steady employment, and they're on esports teams, and they're paid like a contract at least to be professional players for that time, which means guaranteed income regardless of performance. Obviously, if you perform bad, you might lose your contract at the end of the season or whatever, so it's not like forever, but like at least for like a couple of months you got income, which is beyond what anything else any other player gets.
And I think like Punk, Mena, some of these players, like a lot of these guys like provide, all I'll say is I feel like they provide tremendous value to the scene overall, and it affects Japan, it affects Europe, it affects everywhere else. Like in the end of the day, remove all of these players, remove the whole US scene, for example, and see what the fuck happened. Remove the whole European scene and see what the fuck happened. We need everybody. We need everybody, right? And especially some of these guys we got over here are fucking titans. You're not going to point me to the person that's moving the needle more than Punk. You're not going to point me to the person that's moving the needle more than Mena RD. I don't care where they live at. So with that being the case, I believe that they should be compensated. You know, I'm not going to go into no details, but I think they should be compensated just as much as anybody else, point blank.
Well, you know, the thing is, it's hard for me to know that because in Japan, the percentage of the population and the viewership they get on like their content and everything, the numbers are ridiculous. Like I've been looking at some of the other top players, like Tokido obviously is like the number one, and there's like Kowan and other people, and then you keep going down the list. A lot of these players that we don't even think about that much in the US are getting huge amount of viewership in Japan. And obviously that's a smaller total addressable market if you're talking about Japan versus the world, but they capture such a higher percentage of the population because like in the West, we're still getting less viewership for all our stuff in Japan, and we have like 100 times as many, 20 times as many people in the US. Like there's so many more people in the US overall than Japan.
There, yeah.
But they're just getting so much more attention. Like it's captured the culture in Japan so much more. So there's so much more potential. Way more. There's like, if you look at, I've been looking at the viewership for like their YouTube videos, for their streams and stuff. They just get so many more views on everything. Tokido's a fucking celebrity. His vlogs are doing 100K per video daily. You know what I mean? Like he's getting mad viewership on his YouTube. He's eating good off that. Yeah, it's like this in general. The culture
100K per video for fucking vlogs.
He's been vlogging it up. Tokido, he has 140k subs. Let's see, he's got 80k, 80k, 75k, 117k, 115k, 35k, 144k, 135k. Yeah, Tokido's channel is cooking.
His shit
not every video. 323,000 6 days
that
ago.
One is crazy. I see that one.
Yeah, so
some of them 40k, 30k. They're all doing
so not
good
everyone.
numbers. But that's what I'm saying. I don't think Tokido's bigger than Punk. I don't think these guys are bigger than Punk.
But they're hitting the market in a different way. And I don't know, Punk is the exception, of course, but what I'm saying is, as you go down the list in Japan in terms of their biggest players, you still don't fall off that fast, and you fall off very fast in the West. So yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, there's so much more potential in the West, but I don't know if it's worth. Is it going to be forever that people keep investing in that the same, or does everything just end up being in Japan? I'm almost wondering if we're heading in that direction,
bro. Nah, I don't think so whatsoever, bro. Like, okay, bro, how can I put this? Fuck, I gotta be so delicate the way I speak on it, but like, all I'm gonna say is, bro, usually certain storylines and energy and whatnot behind tournaments and virality and shit like that usually comes from Western players. There's certain types of shit that you only get with Western players. There's certain type of, okay.
But that speaks to the West. What I also just want to be clear before you go forward. We are both in bubbles. I want to be very clear. This 323,000 view video of Sako, Costa, Lashard, Tokido doing some kind of command speed challenge. This is not on my feed. This is not on any. Did you know about this? This is not on any of our social feeds. This is in the Japan. You have to go to you have to be speaking Japanese to be algorithmically recommended these kind of things, or seek it out manually. Like I did with I randomly open up these guys' YouTubes. It never gets recommended to me. I watch their videos, but I have to go type it in and look it up just to keep tabs on what's going on, right? So what I'm saying is, this stuff pops off in the West with Western players, but is it popping off in Japan the same way? And the things that are popping off in Japan, which actually get more raw viewers, aren't popping off to the West. So what I'm saying is, we're both in separate bubbles, and I think the bubble in Japan is bigger. That's what I think. And I don't know how much cross-pollination is happening.
Well, it depends on what you mean by cross-pollination. How can I put this? I think, if I go to Japan, bro, I'm taking pictures on autographs. Point blank, period. Like, I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that these people who are about to come get pictures with me and ask for an autograph are also watching my motherfucking music reaction video where I'm speaking English, or fucking want to watch me stream, even if I was streamer Street Fighter, because I'm speaking English. But you get what I'm saying? But they are fans, but now they literally are going to see Punk and want a picture and this, that, and the third, but they might not be watching his motherfucking vlog he posts on YouTube, but they're super fans of Punk. So that is still cross-pollination, because they are looking at you at that point where they literally are like, oh my God, Brian F. I love you, man. XYZ. But they're not watching fucking trash talk.
Just to be clear,
you get my point?
Not a single Japanese person came up and said that to me, because first of all, they're speaking Japanese. I just want to be clear. The only people who talked to me were like random dudes, white dudes from Seattle, like going on a culinary. Like, I met some dude from Seattle going on a culinary voyage through Japan and like whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You met an American fan in Japan.
I met many American fans in Japan. I didn't meet a single Japanese. Not a single random Japanese person came up to me to talk to me. So what I think people pay attention to in Japan is the official CPT channel. So they'll recognize you.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because you're so big, but your shit is like on your own channels,
own platforms,
versus
right?
They watch all these CPT events,
and they like in general, they respect like the culture of having a skill. So if you're a strong player, you'll be known and respected and whatever. And if you're part of like the official events. Right. Like that is the type of fandom that exists. But like, as far as like cultural stuff surrounding it, I don't know how much that penetrates, because it's a language barrier, first of all. And then so yeah, there's a difference there. I just want to be clear about that. I think you'll for sure get recognized because you're hosting the big events that they're watching. So like, you're there in front of them.
Daigo's at the fucking tournament, Tokido at the tournament, right? So they watching it already.
Right. But it's not like they're watching Maximilian dude or necessarily, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like, that kind of stuff doesn't cross over. So we and also what we see on our Twitter feeds is not what they're going to see on their Twitter feeds.
But like, for example, like Red Bull Kumite, like, you can't, how can I put it? I also think English is and correct me, I don't want to sound ignorant. I think English is more of like a universal is that the right word? Like it's more of a widespread language than Japanese, right?
Sure.
So no matter which way you cut it, are you going to make Red Bull Kumite in Japanese? Are you going to make, you get what I'm saying? Like, are you going to make, you're going to have Japanese players. Are you going to make Evo primarily Japanese? No, that will be the dumbest shit you ever did in your life, right?
Evo Japan.
Right, but not Evo.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You can't do that because English is just, so that alone, we cannot put a fucking, like there's people, fuck just America, there's people in Europe that watch, that are gonna watch you and me. And I interviewed a motherfucker, a little kid from Norway, and he's like, yeah, you know, Brian F got me into the FGC. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, there's the English speaking world is way bigger.
Okay,
way bigger.
So in the end of the day, yes, you have y'all bigger thing in Japan, but there's plenty of people that I get to reach that fucking even the best Japanese players can't reach just off of a language barrier. I can reach people in South America, in motherfucking all the different countries of Europe because they all speak English. So that's the same thing for our players with Punk and Mena and all these guys. They know exactly what Punk is saying on his pop-off. They know exactly what Mena's talking about when he's doing all this. They know exactly what joke I'm making on my shows and whatnot like that. And when I go to those countries, I meet hella motherfucking fans every motherfucking time. So, but you can't say the same for Aru is fucking god. Like Aru might be better than me. Like Aru's the best. Aru's better than me. I'm not good at Japanese. But I'm just saying, language barrier alone. It's not about who's better.
Right. There's more potential. There's
value.
way more potential in the English speaking world. But I guess I've been concerned about like how the rate of growth has been going for a long time versus the rate of growth in Japan. It's just exploding so much in Japan right now, and we've had so much potential in the West for forever. But it's still the rate of growth. It's still smaller in raw numbers, and it still hasn't grown the same. So all I'm saying is I could be completely wrong, but I would tell people don't be too surprised if randomly we start seeing superstars in Street Fighter League Japan. I just feel like eventually
I agree. Unless like, something big changed.
I just the economics of it all. I don't know. I'm hoping we can catch up in the West because there's too much potential. I agree. I'm not trying to be like a doomer here and imply like esports for FGC in the West about to collapse any day now. But for Street Fighter specifically, it's getting serious in Japan.
I'll just add that I believe that there's a reason why we are like I don't want to say LA, but I'm talking about like America. Like we are the entertainment hub of the world. Is that fair to say? Like entertainment or no?
There's competition now. I don't know. I mean, it used to be Hollywood, right? But if
you had to say like that's our shit though, right? Like
China's catching up, and there's a lot of.
So for now, we number one though. For now, USA in the world,
I guess,
as far as entertainment,
I would have to say maybe.
I know it's not.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people.
Positive.
Once again, it depends. It depends on talking about like breadth versus depth or something. Because like the reach of USA is the most, but like the way. The percentage of capturing a population, if like I bet you there's something in like Brazil that captures like 90% of the population and you get more raw numbers. But USA has the most reach, but in terms of raw numbers that people tune in, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Okay, so they dropping shit that's doing more numbers than fucking Avengers Endgame and shit, huh? In these other countries. Like this shit is killing Avengers Endgame, huh? Nigga, no. Why? You can just be honest, bro. Stop. Like, it's not even close for now. We are the number one.
There's big movies in China because China has so many people.
Bro, I'm not trying to say America is fucking great and all that. Please don't kill me, y'all. Like, it's unpopular. Brown don't even want to say this shit. Everybody is great at shit. I think Japan is awesome. They're always going to be great at shit. Entertainment is a lot of niggas like me and yourself and all of it that are doing and that are way bigger than us too. But I'm talking about like, this is our shit. I'm an American ass nigga, and this is what we good at, right? We good at this. My point is that there is a lot of value in that. Like, so let Street Fighter League USA be like, okay, I'm gonna ask you this.
I hope they go live. I really hope.
Let it go live. Let that shit go live. Let that shit go live and see what happens. Bro, when it comes to, how can I put this, bro? Okay. Who's bigger? Fuck, man, I don't want to use myself. Fuck. Okay. who's gonna have more viral moments? A talent in an Eastern country or a talent in a Western country, generally speaking.
But viral to who? That's what I'm saying. Like, what you keep talking about viral, stuff goes viral in Japan all the time. There's a VTuber who just beat Chris Wong, who has like 1.2 million followers on Ranked, and that shit has like 100. Chris Wong replied with a thumbs up, has like 20k likes and like 50k retweets. There's stuff. The CR Cup in Japan, this shit with the VTubers in Japan gets more viewers than anything we've ever done in the West. By the way, there was like nearly 500,000 viewers in Japan for the CR Cup. Look at these two tweets. Okay. A random dude in Japan, 1.6 million followers, beat Chris Wong in a rank set. It got 51k likes a couple of days ago. Chris Wong just said, yes, that's me. 12k likes. Is that viral to you?
100%.
When's the last time you've seen anything with 51k likes on Western FGC Twitter?
Mena
Second of all,
Mena RD. Last
Mena RD. And who was that with?
Daigo the Beast.
That was in Japanese. That was in Japanese. The tweet was in fucking Japanese. What are you talking about? He tweeted at Daigo to call, ask him respectfully for the first to 10, and the tweet was literally in Japanese.
Yeah, you're right.
It was for the Japanese community.
Yeah, that's why that shit went viral like that. That's why that shit went viral
only
like
38k likes. 38k likes on Mena RD asking Daigo for a first attempt, which was the biggest deal to us. This random fucking content creator in Japan,
well, we can't say
played against Chris Wong.
Nigga got 1.6 million followers.
But I don't think you understand the scale of these VTubers and influencers in the Japanese scene. Yes, no, but the famous dudes and the famous content creators are fucking with Street Fighter 6 in Japan like insane.
Because
CR Cup,
it's literally
CR Cup with the VTuber team tournament, Sage Gym Slam, but with VTubers only, right? 500,000 viewers.
Brian, how many followers do these VTubers have?
Millions. So what I'm saying is, but they're all heavily playing Street Fighter 6. So what I'm saying is in Japan, they have much more influence and pull. And now the players are being associated with them too. They're being sucked up into this upper echelon of Japanese online entertainment. And it has tapped into the audience there much more concretely than it has in the West. There's just less people in the West that care right now.
Okay. So I ask you this, right? So one, you asked me on the flip side, like you asked me this. So these like Japanese VTuber gods with all these fucking views, do you think that the Western FGC watched any of that or no? Like, do you think the Western FGC was seeing these tweets?
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We're in our bubbles. That's what I'm saying. We're in our bubbles.
But I agree with what you're saying. But my point is, right, when it comes to, how can I put this? When it comes to entertainment, take us out this shit then. Like, because it's so big in Japan. Mena RD, retire. All American talent, retire. Punk, bye.
I didn't say retire. I didn't say retire.
No. I know you didn't. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm talking about value. Take us out the motherfucking game tomorrow. Everybody. You take all American, all of Europe, all of us out. Leave Japan. And show me what the fuck is going on. Now show me what the fuck. This shit ain't just for Capcom health, bro. My point is that there is tremendous value being given, is my point. Like us selling out, that's my point. You can take all of us out this shit tomorrow, nigga, and it's going to hurt. That shit ain't it's not like, oh, you just gonna goddamn. Now, Capcom is a builder.
See, my perspective on this is
they can't just run off the Japanese Street Fighter gods, bro. I'm sorry.
This is all an investment for the bottom line of Capcom at the end of the day. Sometimes you spend money on investments and they don't make a return right away. I don't know if what they do in the Western initiatives is making a sufficient return to keep this up for the long term. That's my point. Whereas in Japan, the investment is making returns, as in it's growing at a really fast rate. That's what I'm getting for. So what I can see the funds start to divert. That's what I'm concerned about, a future where the funds start to shift more and more and more to the place where they've seen the most growth. That's what I'm getting at.
I can't call. I'm privy to shit, so I can't go on that. But nigga, But
sure.
But all I say in general is, my point is, I believe that much like the shit the players have gone through plenty of times, like this concept of, I take it personally, this stupid ass concept of like we don't provide value and shit like that is a constant fucking lie and battle. And it's only like, bro, no. Ain't nobody like, hey, RobTV, you want some money? Here. Like, what the fuck? Ain't nobody on this earth having Punk and Knuckle doing all these players do shit for their fucking health. Like, hey, here you just, no, bro. So there is tremendous value being provided. I know for a fact that I personally go the fuck outside and it's not uncommon for me to meet fans. I know for a fact that Punk go to grocery store, go to Publix and shit like that, and is running into Punk the God fans all the time.
Yeah, but if fans aren't paying the bills, money. I know, but that depends on the monetization strategy. Listen, Rob, we've seen esports bubbles come and go. There's no one spending money for free. Yes, people spend money for free. Echo Fox, what the fuck were they doing? The esports bubble. We can't say that people don't throw away money because it's a gamble.
Well,
people
we don't
gamble.
know that. Well, you don't
Businesses
know the numbers.
gamble.
You don't
so
know the
what
numbers on
I know we don't know.
Japan.
I know we're looking from the outside in. So that's why I'm saying from the outside in, I'm seeing more and more growth in Japan. And I wouldn't be surprised if things continue to move in that direction unless we can pick up pace in the West a bit more. That I'm saying Japan is outpacing us right now. That's what I'm saying.
Do you think it's
I'm saying it's over for the West, but I'm saying Japan is outpacing us.
You think Japan is making better product? Players are making better content? You think? Because if you think any of that, you're entirely wrong.
No, I just think the audience
They're not
cares.
making 1% better content.
I do think besides like there's more Stage Jam Slam style like events. I do think there's a bit more community driven events. I think they have that on top of us.
Before that,
I think a lot of the top players make better content, actually, for sure. I actually think that. There's a lot more Tokido, Kawano's, a lot more players like actually doing the YouTube game. I actually 100% think that. Because I think our top players are lazy as fuck.
Brian,
what are you trying to say?
It was already bigger. It's Japan. It's
and
culturally the biggest shit. It's niggas, they are real celebrities over. Like, they are not FGC. They are real celebrities in that country.
So you're proving my point? I don't know what you're trying to say.
But my point is saying that is like, you can't, that is not because they're making better content or something. It's just a bigger thing. Like, Pokemon is bigger over there too. Like, shit is bigger.
No, they make better content. I watched the Kawano videos. They put out a lot of, and the Tokido videos. They put out a lot of educational content. They collaborate with the other players.
Okay, was Street Fighter before these players start making hella content, right? And we can look it up. But was Street Fighter already way bigger in Japan?
Yeah, but I don't know what you're asking anymore. You asked me if they make better content. So
I'm saying that's not okay. My point is, do you think it's bigger because?
No, I get what you're saying.
Yes,
I think, but it don't matter. But I think everything contributes.
It's just bigger. It's just bigger.
No, but I think it contributes. I don't think it's the sole reason. I agree that's not the majority reason. But what I'm saying is, with any kind of scale we get, we all have to keep contributing to keep the snowball effect going, to keep adding to it. And I do think in Japan, they're doing a lot more at a community level to contribute to the snowball effect to keep it going. On an individual, person by person level, I do think that. Now, as far as like the entertainment products with the big events,
the business is way different in Japan. I know that. The players making this content and shit, let me show you their contract and let me show you the American players' contracts, bro. Like, it's different because they're celebrities. So there's more incentive. There's more incentive for them to do that.
So
when you use the word lazy, no. When you use the word lazy for American players, no. That's not accurate, bro. Like, you can't.
Brother, I think some of the American players are lazy.
Okay, they might be, but I don't like you saying it.
I think that for sure.
But I don't like you saying it comparatively, because you can say it in a vacuum, but not comparatively. If I know for a fact, if when I turn on this camera, I'm making I know for sure because of who I am. I walk down the street and 60 niggas know me per day. If I turn the camera, I'm guaranteed to make thousands every week. Guaranteed. Hell yeah, they're gonna turn on that motherfucking camera, and it's cheap for them to buy an editor because they're making all that money. I'm a celebrity.
Right.
It's
no, I get it.
Whereas these players gotta fucking build his shit up from ground zero. Mena gotta build his shit up from ground. That's not the same, bro. So you can call them lazy, but not those people players, but whoever, but not comparatively to a Japanese player that is making fucking 10K a month off a contract, and that is a world celebrity off of something that they had
easier
off
for
of
that.
something they
I
had
get what
nothing
you're saying.
off of something that they did nothing to build. I ain't talking about Takedo Daigo and him. You could be a nigga that just moved to Japan, that just was, you knew, like the new Shuto and them niggas. You could be one of them, and you benefit from the fact that you just happen to be Japanese and living in Japan, and you got like at the game, and now you are a celebrity. So now you make content, and you are going to make thousands and thousands guaranteed off of being a celebrity, and you did not work harder than fucking an American player. No. So we're not saying.
So why don't you
lazy.
move
That's
to Japan and then compete in Street Fighter League, and then turn on the camera and have an editor who translates your videos?
Well, I think that's what's about to happen. Unfortunately,
that's what I'm saying. So
I don't know. I'm just saying that it's not bigger over there because of a better product. That's all my point is. It's not bigger because it's a better product. That's all I'm saying.
I think it contributes. I agree with what you're saying. It's not the main thing, but
nobody over there is more entertaining.
It builds momentum.
Punk is better than everybody over there at the game and entertainment wise. I just said an objective statement that we can shut the fuck up about now, or unless you're gonna say something stupid. Punk is better than everybody over there at Street Fighter and at entertainment. Yes or no?
Don't do this to me, Rob.
Please,
you're not
say
wrong.
yes or no.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
That's all.
But I think he would have more viewers if his videos were dubbed in Japanese and
right.
You know?
But my point is not the world ain't fair, bro. It ain't, everything ain't merit based, bro. Like. That's just the way the world works. So it's not just
but I think you're arriving to the same conclusion I am, that I'm concerned that eventually Japan will become this giant, like, lucrative business vacuum that sucks away value from the West towards Japan. That's what I'm getting at. I think you're kind of seeing a similar trend.
Well, you know, and I even hear shit behind the scenes. I'm sure you even heard shit. So I know there's really people that are considering that. Like, I know for a fact. But
yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
But what I would say is, I guess my point, and for everybody watching this, right? This is how the fuck I argue with my motherfucking homies. Like, shit, this is what we do. Like, this ain't no neutral. We get the goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Get into this shit. My point is, I think that the Western audience is too valuable for Capcom to allow that trend. So what I believe happens, because that could be crippling to the Western product. So what I think happens is, they have to, at that point, if these guys are like, hey, fuck it, no, we gonna move to Japan. Fuck it. We all going. The Bird's going, Mena going. Let Punk, Mena, bro, what? Punk, Mena, Knuckle Duke, well, you know what I'm saying? We all going to fucking Japan. Capcom not ready to be like, oh, well, all right, we all in Japan. One, you even taking spots from Japanese players. How about that? You taking spots from Japanese players.
It's still competitive. It's still competitive. Like, to be clear, it's not like you go to Japan and it's free, right? Like, those Japanese players are fighting for their spots too. So yeah, you're right. There would be more competition for the Japanese players. You'd be kicking out more players for
Punk
sure.
is taking the motherfucking spot in Japan. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm saying, even if you're in Japan, you're like, oh shit, like,
yeah, like, fuck, here they come. Yeah, you kind of fucking up our business a little bit. I don't think, basically what I'm saying is, not only is the West valuable, we are extremely valuable. These players are extremely valuable, even to the bottom line, to the point that they cannot afford to let all of the best players and talent or whoever the fuck all go to motherfucking Japan. Like, hey, you know what? Fucking, I make more money if I just spoke fucking Japanese, and now I'm just going to learn Japanese and move to Japan. And everybody go over to Japan now. Fuck it.
All right, we're arguing too much. Rob, we got to close this out. We can go forever. You got any final? Normally I go to iDom for some final words of wisdom. What do you got? Do you have anything you can close this out with? Capcom Cup's coming up. The business is changing. What are you going to leave the people with at the end?
Final words of wisdom. What I would say is that, like, bro, honestly, fighting games have gotten way bigger. Like, I know people, and like I said, maybe I'll see it differently, but from my vantage point, this shit is way bigger than when I got into this shit. Like, it's fascinating for me to see these crowds, bro. I'm talking about, you go to DR, we doing a pre-show, not a pre-show, but like a team event that's not even the main tournament, and the crowd is going insane. Evo, brother, anybody who might not have been at Evo don't know, bro, we can't get into of course I was able to get in, praise God, but like, you can't get into Evo to see top 8 easily, bro. Like, the line is like, I feel like it's a mile long to try to get into the fucking venue at Evo. And it's the stadium of people on different levels of the stadium, far as I can see, with cell phone lights and shit like that in the air. I was at Evo this last year, and I swear to you, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, and what I meant by that is like, what is, I'm at Evo, and I'm not just seeing all my homies that I know and all the FGC. There's a billion people there at these events who, even at Street Fighter League, bro, I promise you, every event that I work or that I go to, I swear to you, I meet fans every time who say, this is my first ever event. Every fucking time I meet multiple people who this is their first tournament. There are more new players than ever. I think Street Fighter 6 content is doing much better numbers and shit than what I was seeing in 5. I think there's way more people that are actually watching Street Fighter 6 content and everything. That shit does good on TikTok and all kind of shit. You put out a fucking podcast. We do fucking trash talk podcast. I'm in a gym and a motherfucker come up to me and he like, hey bro, you and Brian F got me into the FGC. And then it's telling me how the shit we was talking about affected him in his life. So overall, I agree that there's stuff to improve, but I also believe that proof of concept is there. There's growing pains, but I also would say, I don't think motherfuckers is just investing all kind of, it's weird to explain, bro. Like, look, man, this is the best product. We can say whatever we want. Product wise, ain't shit more in esports, ain't nothing more entertaining than us. We got the most entertaining players, the most entertaining talent. Shit is 1v1. Shit is hype. Shit is exciting. They got different infrastructure. Give us time. Let us keep growing. And I think the FGC shit gonna be just as big as anything else, if not bigger. And that's not me speaking fucking optimistically. That's my genuine opinion. It's not even like it's my plan or career path. My YouTube plaque is not from FGC, bro. Like, it ain't like it ain't like I'm saying in 20 years, it's my fucking life plan. I love this shit, and I think that it's the best product in the world. So that's all I got to goddamn say. And be confident in yourself and be cocky a little bit, but don't be an idiot. That's it.
I wanted to call that optimistic, but you called me out before I could even.
Yeah, no, bro. Our shit fire. Oh, and Brian F, the best content creator in this shit, bro. Facts.
There we go. Best perfect. There we go. Let's close it on that.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care. Peace. Hey there. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Extra Trashy. And a big special thank you to our supporters over at patreon.com/Brian_F. If you're watching a video feed, you might be seeing their names scrolling by right now. This show, Trash Talk and Extra Trashy, would not be possible without your support, so we really, truly appreciate it. We will have more premium Trash Talk episodes on the way soon. It takes a little bit extra time to find the right schedule with these important FGC figureheads and to put the extra editing, polish, and shine to make sure it's the highest quality possible. But don't fret, they are on the way very soon. And we will have more Extra Trashy, fun, topical episodes on the way as well. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you for supporting.